Hello everybody, today on Political Access we've got a coin flip battle. This time it's going to be Jamie Raskin for the Democrats up against Rick Scott for the Republicans. This was suggested to me in the comments. I know it's far-fetched, but that's what we do in the coin flip battles. We try to have a little bit of fun. I'm trying to get through a lot of the suggestions. Some of these are over 2 or 3 months old. If you're not familiar with Raskin, he's a U.S. representative from Maryland, and Rick Scott, of course, U.S. Senator from Florida. Republicans have had a ton of success. We'll see if Raskin can put up a win for the Democrats. So heads is for Raskin, tails is for Scott. I wonder what's going to happen. Let's have a good one. Let's get started in Alaska. Here comes the first flip. And this state is going to go tails. That is going to go to Rick Scott. So Rick Scott takes the first 3 electoral votes. Let's see what happens on Hawaii. Here's the next flip. This is heads for Jamie Raskin. Both candidates on the map. The third flip is going to be Washington. That has 12 electoral votes. And that is going to go tails for Rick Scott. Next state is Oregon. 8 more votes up for grabs. Who's going to get him? It's Jamie Raskin. He's got him. Next state is California. That's the biggest state with the most votes. It's going to set the tone early. Let's see who gets him. Who's it going to be? It's heads for Jamie Raskin. He's got those. Next door to Nevada. It's a purple state. It has 6 electoral votes, and this time it goes blue for Raskin. Raskin with 3 straight. Idaho is the next state. That has 4 electoral votes, so that's going to Raskin again. How about south to Utah? There's 6 electoral votes up for grabs, and those are going to go 5 straight for Jamie Raskin. Not looking good here so far for Rick Scott. Plenty of time left. Let's go south to Arizona. Another purple state. Which way is it going to go this time? It's going to go heads for Jamie Raskin again. That is 6 in a row for Raskin. He's not wasting any time. He's out for the White House. He wants to take one home for the Democrats. Let's move it along to Montana. 4 electoral votes. And that's heads again for Jamie Raskin. Look at him go. 7 straight for Raskin. How about Wyoming? Can Rick Scott wake up, get any electoral votes? Not on Wyoming. It's going to go to Jamie Raskin again. That's 8 in a row for Raskin. Look at this West Coast, almost completely blue. The next state is Colorado. This would be 9 in a row for Raskin. I've seen 9 in a row done one other time. Let's see if he can tie the record. Here comes the flip. This does go heads for Jamie Raskin. Unbelievable dominance so far. There is time for Rick Scott. We've seen some great comebacks before. But first we got to go to New Mexico. We got to see if Jamie Raskin can go 10 in a row and break the record. Let's do it. Here's the flip. Who's going to get him? It's heads for Jamie Raskin, and he goes 10 in a row. That is an incredible streak for Raskin. He already has a 100 electoral vote lead. That is a new record for consecutive flips, but maybe he's not done yet. Let's see if he can go 11 on North Dakota. Here it comes. It's tails for Rick Scott. Finally, Rick Scott wakes up. He gets 3 electoral votes. He ends the streak of Raskin. But Rick Scott needs a lot more than 3. He's going to have to win some big states later on. But if Raskin could go 10 in a row, why can't Rick Scott do it? Let's see if he can get it started here on South Dakota. Here it is. It's tails for Rick Scott. Scott has 2 in a row. 6 electoral votes to show for it. Let's go to Nebraska at large. 2 electoral votes. And that's tails for Rick Scott. Rick Scott now 3 in a row. Let's go to Nebraska's first. 1 more electoral vote. Tails for Rick Scott again. Let's go to Nebraska's second. Another electoral vote. And that goes heads for Jamie Raskin. Nebraska's third. That's next. Let's see who gets this. It goes tails for Rick Scott. Next state, Kansas, 6 electoral votes. Who's going to get these? It's heads for Jamie Raskin. He's got 6 more. And now we go to Oklahoma. That has 7 electoral votes. That's going to go heads for Raskin again. Now we've got Texas, 40 electoral votes. Rick Scott already badly needs Texas. There's already so much blue on this map. I don't think Rick Scott can take any more. Let's flip it. Let's see what happens. This does go tails for Rick Scott. He gets Texas. He gets a big state. He needed that lifeline, and he has it. Now we go up to Minnesota. There's 10 electoral votes here. And that's going to go heads for Jamie Raskin. Next state, Iowa. 6 electoral votes. That's tails for Rick Scott. He's got 6 more. Next state, Missouri. There's 10 up for grabs here. Who's going to snag him? It's Jamie Raskin. He's got him. Next we go south to Arkansas. That has 6 electoral votes. And those are going to go to Jamie Raskin. Next state, Louisiana. 8 more up for grabs. Tails for Rick Scott. He's got 8. Now we go up to Wisconsin, where there's 10 electoral votes up for grabs. And that's going to go blue for Jamie Raskin. Now we've got Illinois, 19 electoral votes. Who's going to get these? Those go red for Rick Scott. Next state, Michigan, 15 electoral votes. And that's going to go tails for Rick Scott. Rick Scott over 100 now, still with ground to make up. Next state, Indiana. There's 11 at stake. And these are going to go heads for Jamie Raskin. Next state, Kentucky. 8 electoral votes. That's tails for Rick Scott. He's got 8 more. And now we can go to Tennessee. Here comes the flip. Who's going to get him? It's tails for Rick Scott. 11 more for Scott as we go to the Deep South, Mississippi. There's 6 more up for grabs. Those are going to go in the Rick Scott column. Scott with 3 in a row. Next door to Alabama, there's 9 electoral votes here. And those are going to go heads for Jamie Raskin. Now we go down to Florida. That's Rick Scott's home state. He's still trailing. It's not as bad as it was before Texas. This could really help close the gap for Scott. Raskin looking to go over 200 here. Let's flip it. Who's going to get him? That goes heads for Jamie Raskin. He takes Rick Scott's home state of Florida. He's at 215, Rick Scott at 138. So Scott is going to have to do some damage here on the East Coast if he wants to have any chance. Let's do Georgia. That's the next flip. This state is going to go to Rick Scott. So Scott starts his journey with Georgia, and that takes us to South Carolina. There's 9 more votes here, and those are going to go in the Rick Scott column. Next state, North Carolina. 16 votes here. That's a lot. And those are going to go in the Jamie Raskin column. Now we jump up to Ohio. There's 17 electoral votes here. And that's tails for Rick Scott. The next state is West Virginia. There's 4 votes here. And those are going to be won by Jamie Raskin. The next state is Maine at large. There's 2 votes here. And those are going to go to Rick Scott. He has 2 more. Next flip, Maine's first. 1 electoral vote. Red for Rick Scott. Maine's second now. Another electoral vote. Going to Rick Scott. Next door, New Hampshire. 4 electoral votes. Tails for Rick Scott. Next state, Vermont. 3 votes. At stake, Rick Scott snags those. Scott with 5 in a row now, but the next flip is New York. There's 28 electoral votes here. This is a key state for Rick Scott. If he doesn't win this, he's almost certain to take the loss. If he does win it, suddenly this becomes very competitive. Let's flip it. Here comes New York. Who's going to get all these votes? It's tails for Rick Scott. He takes New York. He stays alive. He makes it competitive. The next flip is Massachusetts. There's 11 electoral votes here. That's heads for Jamie Raskin. Next state is Connecticut. There's a lucky 7 electoral votes here, and those are going to go to Jamie Raskin. Next state, Rhode Island. That has 4 electoral votes, and those are going to go to Raskin again. So just when it looked like Scott was making a move, Raskin says not so fast. The next flip is for New Jersey. Jamie Raskin can win it here if it's heads. Rick Scott has to see tails here. Let's flip it. Who's going to get it? It's heads for Jamie Raskin. He gets New Jersey. That puts him over 270. He clinches the White House. Rick Scott is going to take the loss. But let's finish out the rest of these states. Next, we have Delaware. There's 3 electoral votes here. And that's Rick Scott taking Delaware. Next, we have Jamie Raskin's home state of Maryland. Let's see if Rick Scott can get some revenge after Raskin claimed Florida. Here's the flip. And it does go tails for Rick Scott. He gets a little bit of revenge. He makes Maryland red. He salvages just a little bit of dignity. Next flip is going to be Washington, D.C. 3 votes here at stake. And those are going to Jamie Raskin. He's got 3 more. The next flip is Pennsylvania. Here's 19 electoral votes. Who's going to get them? Jamie Raskin. He's going to get them. He's got them. And that takes us to the last flip. That is Virginia. Raskin looking to go over 300. Rick Scott looking to avoid the blowout. Let's flip it. Here it is. Last flip. It goes heads for Jamie Raskin. And that puts him at 306. Rick Scott, 232. Jamie Raskin wins this coin flip battle, gets a win for the Democrats. He has battled his way through some cancer treatment, but he also battled his way through this coin flip battle. He wins 10 flips in a row. Look at the western part of the country. He had a huge lead on Rick Scott. Scott actually almost started to make this really competitive in the end, but he does end up falling short. How about that map? When are we ever going to see anything like this? So this was a good one. We saw something we've never seen before. Let me know in the comments. Did your prediction come true? Did you have Raskin winning it? Did you come close on the final electoral total? Did you want to see Scott win it? Or are you glad Raskin got the W? Let me know down below. On your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join if you'd like to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.